Welcome into the Thunder Basketball Universe presented by COOP Ale Work. You might notice we're not in our podcast studio. We're not on the road anymore. We are in the Thunder Ion here in Oklahoma City, and we've got a very, very special guest joining us on the pod today. Just like a best friend of the pod at this point, Mike Muscala joining us yet again. Mike, thanks so much for joining us fresh after practice. How was practice today? Practice pretty good?
It was good. Yeah. Thanks for having me. It's always fun talking with you all here.
Yeah, well, you had a much deserved day off yesterday, and those are rare to come by in the NBA. So what was this like to have a weekend? Because I think we're 7 out of 8 weekends on the road here to start the season.
Yeah, no, it was great. Just felt nice to get home after a long road trip, but it was a fun trip. Went in some good cities, had some good games, some good wins. And I went to the OSU game.
Oh, nice.
Really?
Oh, cool.
So that was fun.
Sweet.
Is he reeling from the loss?
He was pretty hurt when the way it started, 28-0. And they made it respectable at the end there. But that was fun to watch the game.
That's cool.
Was that your first OSU game to go to?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was cool. I mean, obviously it was packed.
Yeah.
Going to Bucknell, smaller school, we had a football team, but it wasn't like big time college football. Yep. So it's always, anytime I get a chance to go check out a big college football game, I always try to go. So it was nice that he invited me.
You went to the First Americans Museum with Lindy and Shai recently too. What's that been like? Just kind of, I don't know, you've been here for a while, but are you seeing Oklahoma maybe through some of Lindy's eyes, I guess, maybe the last couple weeks?
Yeah, I mean, that was a really cool experience. It was a really well-done museum. I want to go back and check it out more and learn more. But, they put his jersey in there, so that was a cool surprise for him to be there. A part of that was pretty emotional and pretty special.
That's awesome. I'm glad you were able to spend some time with your teammates, even though the schedule has been pretty compact as of late. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you brought your appetite because we've got a game. Since it's Thanksgiving week, we're going to do a Thanksgiving dinner draft. Mm-hmm. All right. So you're going to get the first pick here. We did a little lottery before the podcast started. Mike's got the first pick. And then, Nick, you've got the second pick. I got third. And so we've got a list of prospects of Thanksgiving dinner items. And so, with the first pick, Mike Muscala, what's on your dinner plate?
Actually, I think we should do we each get 3 picks, and if I take something, then y'all can't take it.
Exactly.
And then we try to make the 3 our best meal ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
Or is that what we were already doing?
I think that's what we're doing.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you take something,
it's off the board.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's completely
But then
off the
how
board.
many rounds are we doing?
3.
Oh, we are doing
3.
3.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I'm probably so now let's change this. I don't know if I want to take this first overall because I don't think y'all are going to take it. Is it a snake?
So
is it a snake draft?
See.
So you go third, then you go. You get the first pick
I'm
second
third
round?
at each round.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Paris is
all right.
Really in the jackpot.
But it's all right. There are a lot of sleepers.
All right, it's good. I'm taking it. Green bean casserole.
Green bean casserole. Wow.
I'm not gonna lie, Mike. First overall, I think it's a little high.
You know what? We really value green bean casserole. We believe in it. We trust it.
Kids, if you want to be an amazing athlete like Mike Muscala, eat your green bean casserole at Thanksgiving,
veggies.
Okay?
So wait, this is your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Yes.
Okay. If you're hosting Thanksgiving, this is what you're like.
There could be an immaculate spread, a Thanksgiving spread, but there's not green bean casserole.
You're probably leaving.
Yeah.
Mike said we're leaving.
It could be like a very average, below average meal, but if there's green bean casserole, I'm gonna love it. So
all right, it's on the board.
Okay,
it's off the board. It's off the board.
Yeah.
All right, kids, if you want to be a reporter and a podcaster, you're gonna pick what I'm about to take, and that's mac and cheese.
Okay, it's a classic.
You went with mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese. I'm telling you. It's got to happen.
Certain way that you like it prepared, or
I mean, I'm an equal opportunity mac and cheese eater, so I will not be picky about it. And we've had it a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
My wife actually has this great cookbook that's got 100 different ways to do mac and cheese with all different types of cheeses. It's sometimes you can get it real fancy, so it's cool.
Yeah. A good creamy mac and cheese is really good.
Yeah.
And it's a staple of every Thanksgiving. Yeah. I understand completely. Yeah. I'm a little disappointed that nobody chose a protein up to this point. So with my first overall pick, I gotta go turkey.
Okay.
I mean, the staple of Thanksgiving, of course. Right?
Yeah.
The bird.
Now, I mean, this is a big debate. Are we light meat? Are we dark meat? What do we?
I gotta go light meat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a dark meat kind of guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Dark meat,
really?
Yeah, the leg. Oh.
Interesting.
For sure.
Okay.
I think now you should go again because I think
we're gonna do a snake draft.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll go first here.
Yeah.
So Well, I wasn't expecting that, so now I need a second because
I
I know now I'm like.
I mean, Paris can really mess up our meals here and take like another meat, and then we're like in big trouble.
Well, what if I just did like a complete and opposite 180 and said gravy?
Yeah, that's a good move.
You know,
okay, there
it's
you
like
go.
I think it's kind of a sleeper of the draft.
Yeah.
If you've got white meat, you have to have the gravy, or else
like
really you're in trouble.
Fair.
You're in trouble.
That's facts.
All right, so I've got gravy, and then so that means Nick, you're going next.
I'm up, so I'm going ham.
Okay.
Yeah,
dang, that makes it hard.
Nick, your plate's looking pretty good. You've got mac and cheese. You've got ham.
Sorry, Mike.
I'm having a vegan thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still a lot left on the table here. There's still a lot left.
Okay. All right, so you went ham.
See, okay. Well, I won't give you your answer, but I've got a thought for you after you answer.
Okay, I'm gonna go stuffing.
Okay.
Quality choice.
I'm going stuffing. It's not a turkey or a ham, but it's kind of filling and still need a protein, obviously. But I'm going stuffing.
Okay.
Now, is there a difference between dressing and stuffing, or is that it's all the same,
I think
right?
they're the same thing. I think it's just based on where you're from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your dialect.
Yeah. It was always stuffing.
Called it
to me.
dressing.
No, stuffing.
Stuffing. Yeah. Same.
All right, so now it's
Gallo.
My turn?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm going with I'm going cranberry sauce.
Ooh, okay, that's solid.
Ooh, so this is also, you feel free to keep this in house if you want to, but is it the sauce or does it come out of the can?
No, if it doesn't have the rings on it, I don't want it.
Yes. I'm so happy you said that. Yes.
I want that thing sliced like Jello.
You gotta shake it out of the tube. Yes.
That's good.
I love that you don't look down on that guy.
No, not at all.
That's the best kind of cranberry sauce.
I'm not an elitist by any
Jello.
means. Yeah.
So good. Oh my gosh. All
okay,
right.
so Mike's up next? Paris and then Mike.
Oh, is it me?
I lost count, to be honest.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2. Yeah.
So me?
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, fine.
There's still a lot.
That
There's
makes
still a
sense.
lot on the table. So I've got turkey gravy. You know what? We're going apple pie.
Okay.
We're going apple pie.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
you need a solid 5-man who can really anchor the paint for you, anchor your plate.
Apple pie.
Apple pie.
So you put that all to play at the same time.
There are no
We got
rules.
some
Come on,
weird
you gotta
meals.
have a side
There are
plate
no
for the pie.
rules.
I'm not sure that I want
All right.
those things mixing.
Okay. So I feel like I got stuffing and green bean casserole. So
Don't forget, you've got. There's a lot to work with here.
Yeah.
Can I see your list? Did you
Yeah,
see
yeah,
your
yeah,
list and
yeah.
stuff?
We haven't touched rolls. We haven't touched.
Nobody's got mashed
Sweet
potatoes
potatoes.
yet. Nobody's
See,
got
I
sweet
like mashed
potatoes.
potatoes, but I can't throw that in what I have. It's just all soft food. It's like a baby's meal.
Just got a root canal.
So, man, I don't know. I'm gonna just go pecan pie.
Oh,
Okay.
some
Yeah,
pecan
there you go.
pie.
Pecan pie is my
See,
my
I was
favorite.
wondering if you were going to try to do
Interesting.
like loaded mashed potatoes, and then you could get like
Ooh,
some
the
bacon or
bacon, that's a
something in
good
there
idea.
to like get
Nick.
some level of
Yeah.
protein.
I was
Yeah,
wondering
you're
what you
playing
were gonna
chess.
say.
We're playing checkers over here.
So who wins?
I mean, we all win. We all
Oh,
win.
okay.
We all win. You
Losers,
can't
right?
lose on. You can't lose. You can't lose.
The
Yeah.
plot was that
Yeah.
this is a potluck Thanksgiving, and so this is what we're all bringing to the potluck.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
We're
I think
eating
I'm
good.
taking yours because you got yours a little Christmassy,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
you got the sweetness with the
The
cranberry
ham,
and the
yeah.
tart, and then you got the
We
Yeah.
can
The mac and
solicit
cheese
the
and the ham.
viewers here on YouTube and just
Whose
like drop a
plate are you
little
choosing?
comment in the comments.
All
Yeah.
right, so
Yeah.
just to recap,
Yeah.
Mike's plate. He's got green bean casserole, the best green bean casserole, I imagine.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
the best.
that you can find.
yeah.
Green bean casserole, stuffing, pecan pie.
I'm last. Let's be real. I'm third. It's fine.
Not if the green bean casserole can carry you now. I mean, if it's as good as you say,
I made
it
a
is.
mistake picking that first.
Yeah,
The
you
turkey
should-
went
that's
off.
like the ace up the, that's the ace up the sleeve.
And then Nick's plate is mac and cheese, ham, cranberry sauce, just
With the rings. Yeah.
just such a solid plate,
Yeah.
Gallo. Like,
So,
very, very veteran move by you in your picks. Mine is turkey, gravy, apple pie. Just
Missing
your
some
comments
sides.
below, as if we don't know what everybody's thinking right now.
There's the all-in-one plate is killing me because if that gravy spills over onto the
Yeah,
apple pie, what are you
yeah.
doing there?
I
What's happening?
really-
Yeah.
I don't know. I have so many regrets right now, but it's fine. It's fine.
That was fun. That was fun.
We're going to take a minute to think about what we just did. And we'll be back right after this.
COOP Ale Works is the proud sponsor of Thunder Basketball Universe. Brewers of the fan favorites F5 IPA and 99-calorie Ice Chest IPA. You'll find those and many more COOP beers at retailers across Oklahoma. Learn more at coopaleworks.com.
All right, now that we are perfectly hungry for the rest of the day, I think we should talk some basketball. And Mike, we talked about it off the top. We just got back from a very long road trip, 4 games, and it seemed like the games, it was just up and down. The emotions were wild. I mean, you think about the New York game and then the Boston game in TD Garden, just how loud it was, the game winner in Washington. Just as you reflect back on that, just what are your thoughts overall of like the road trip itself?
No, it was a fun road trip. I think all the games were competitive. Obviously playing in New York was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Shai's buzzer beater in Washington, D.C. was amazing. Mm-hmm. But the game in Boston, we played great, just didn't get it done. Memphis, got off to a little bit of a slow start, but, fought there and we were there. So I think there was just good time, good games, good wins, but also good things to learn from.
It seems like you all over the last few years have really continued to make strides in that like 0-0 mentality thing. I think it could have been, just from like an outside observer, it could have been so easy to let like the Toronto game at home before the road trip even like affect that game in New York, and then the New York game to affect the Boston game. It just felt like you guys kind of were able to have a clean slate like each night. Yeah,
I was really proud of the guys in the Boston game. I thought that we came out, aggressive on a back-to-back, after, 2 away games like that, and then, the fourth quarter kind of slipped away from us. But I thought the way we came out that game was really good.
Yeah, in the Washington game too, like such a whirlwind the day before, and I'm sure we'll get into the trip to the White House, but like you come off of that back-to-back in New York and Boston, and then like it would have been very easy to kind of have just an emotional letdown to I don't know exactly if it's emotional, but just an energy letdown maybe.
Yeah. No, it kind of did feel that way in the beginning of the game, to be honest, but I was just proud of the guys for staying the course. It's a long game, and, sometimes even if you do come out, with a little bit of, lack of energy, you can still find that throughout the game, and I think especially over 82-game season, there's going to be a lot of games where that's required, and we got that done. And Shai obviously had a great game.
Sure. Yeah, Shai, if we're going to talk about the Washington game, we got to, because Nick, you wrote a story on this, and it was, we were talking to guys after the game, and they all mentioned the Milwaukee game and the double overtime loss, and how the lessons from that late game situation carried over. And it was kind of a carbon copy situation there at the end, where it came down to a defensive possession to win the game. How much were you guys able to pull from that Milwaukee game? How much did you guys kind of talk about that after the Milwaukee game, and seeing those lessons applied like within a week later?
Yeah, no, that game against Milwaukee hurt. In double overtime like that, losing at home, just kind of the way it happened, in the end of regulation and, in both OTs. But yeah, I think, Shai obviously hit a great shot there, down 2 to hit that 3 and go up 1. That was amazing. But then just Lou showing his hands there at the end of regulation was big.
Yeah, Lou said it was just something as simple as like when he had that play against Brook Lopez, he turned around to look at the ball, and in the same situation in Washington, he just kept his eyes on Beal and made sure that he didn't make any contact whatsoever. It's just kind of amazing to see a guy who's already at such a high level defensively learn like one more little trick there in that moment.
It's tough. At the end of the games, like there's a lot of things that are up in the air for refs to call, right? It's like I had the moving screen called against me against Milwaukee at home, and it's like I can't argue that, but it's just that. But then there's sometimes where the other team does something, it's like there could have been a foul, So it's a lot for the refs. It's a hard job to ref. Yeah. So like, there's a lot of calls that can kind of go either way towards the end of the game. So just kind of being able to find that balance of not giving them anything to call, but still playing good defense is really hard to do.
Yeah, and Mark also mentioned, especially after this last Memphis game, of like not letting the refs be the factor in the game. So like you got to be able to put yourself in a position to where like the refs aren't the difference maker in the game too, because I'm sure that's something that goes through you guys' head too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
To control what you can control kind of thing. And that's something you all have done for years and years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I say we talk about the White House.
Yeah.
Because that was an awesome experience. I know me and Gallo, we were so pumped because I had never been to the White House before.
Yeah.
Had you ever been before?
No.
What did you think when you heard that you were going to be able to go?
I was excited. I was definitely down to go. And yeah, just grateful. I mean, like, you always hear of teams that win the championship going there, winning the trophy. So for Ayanna to really spearhead that and make that happen was really special. She did a great job setting that up.
The imagery that came out of that day was just so great. The photos of the guys and you all together, and you could tell it really like meant something. Maybe even meant something like a little bit different to each guy. And I know like having that opportunity for a few of the guys afterwards to be with the two Thunder Fellows and have a little bit of a policy discussion with the administration there was like pretty incredible opportunity, and not something that happens when like the teams come and celebrate a championship,
Facts. Yeah. What were your favorite part of the tour? Does anything stand out?
You want to go first?
Well, I just couldn't believe that they had like the China room.
Yeah.
I could not believe that they had like George Washington's and Abraham Lincoln's like dishes that they used. And I mean, what an interesting thing to like have from every single president.
That was my favorite part too.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That was pretty cool. The coolest thing for me was going into I forgot what they called it, but it was like the social part of the East Wing where like they host all of the, like they hosted the Native American Heritage Celebration dinner.
East Room.
East Room. Yeah. And so I had seen that room on TV before from like, people going in there and like performing for the president, like Hamilton.
Live from the East Room.
Yes, exactly. And so being able to like actually see it and realize that it's kind of smaller than I imagined it
Way
to
smaller,
be, like how do they fit so many people in here? That was super cool to me.
Yeah.
But then my other favorite part, seeing everybody in suits and like all dressed up, because I mean we've seen like you'll wear a jacket to the game every now and then, but like seeing some of your teammates in suits was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. I agree. Yeah.
One of my favorite moments, Mike, and I wrote about this in my article that I wrote for the website, was actually you passed by the original outer walls of the White House, and like you kind of just, I don't know, there was something about you kind of just like put your hand on it, and it made me like think like this is like hundreds of years old, and like all of us guys are walking through and ducking our heads to go down in this little like basement, and I just thought it was cool that like there's only a couple things that have survived from the original building of that White House, but like there's so much as a country that we've like tried to salvage and take the best parts of and carry forward. So I don't know, that moment stuck out to me.
Yeah, that was cool.
I would say that was a huge kind of like perspective shift a little bit, because we're so ingrained with basketball every single day, and so to have something that's a little big change of pace like that, and so something that I won't forget that experience, definitely. But, for as long as I'm doing this, that was really awesome and special. Glad that happened.
I agree.
One other thing I wanted to talk to you about, just shifting back to basketball now. It seems like every single game, and this has been true for the Thunder for as long as I've worked here, is that a different guy kind of steps up every single night. And so obviously Shai is, pretty consistent, and you've got those guys who are pretty consistent in terms of their offensive contributions. But you look at a guy like you, Lindy, Eugene, Aaron Wiggins, like all of these guys that seem to just step up and have different opportunities every single night to step up. What has that been like to see these guys take? And Lindy's, I think, the most recent example of this, of a guy who, didn't play for 10 games this season, comes in and has 9 points in the Washington game when you guys need it.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's been playing really well. Eugene obviously played really well at home here. I think it was against the Raptors.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think guys just stay ready, keep working on their games. I think the organization does a good job getting reps in the G League, for guys, and valuing that and really, tracking that progress. And so I mean, it's a really important part to being a good team, is having, all the way down the line throughout the whole roster, just guys ready to play. That
Washington game, Harris and I were talking about, Lindy had only played 2 games for the Thunder all season long. He played another 3 for the Blue, but like if you're going into an opponent scout and then all of a sudden a guy that hasn't played all year is in the game and, banging 3 threes in, a few quarters, like, what does that feel like when you're on the floor or like when you're on the bench and there's this guy that wasn't necessarily on the scout or that you weren't necessarily prepared for?
I mean, I guess that's a good question. I mean, it depends on the team you're playing, but I think it's just a testament to Lindy's preparation, and his game readiness, to be able to come in and find a rhythm like that, just off rip like that. It's tough, like you said, when you haven't played, a lot of games with the team, just to like find that rhythm as a shooter, especially. So he played a great game.
It seems like maybe on some, like on other teams too, like that guy might get thrown out there, but he might not get the ball.
Yeah.
Like, and it just seemed like there's such implicit trust when, if you're on the floor, like if you're open, you're getting the ball, and it's not even a thought of like, well, should I shoot this or not?
Yeah, Mark's done a good job of that. Just keeping the ball moving and emphasizing the importance of that, because over an 82 game season, it's hard to guard teams that do that, but that do it with purpose. I think a lot of it's to play with over 82 games. I feel like sometimes you can get caught when you're trying to move the ball, just moving it just to move it and not like actually playing with purpose. Or you can play so much with purpose that you forget to kind of move the ball and get the defense working, right? So it's a balance I think you have to find, and I think Mark does a good job emphasizing that and working on that, because it's the thing you got to practice and get good at. Like if you are going to be moving the ball a lot, it's just like you might have to pass up some shots, right? That aren't great shots. Like pass up a good shot to get a great shot kind of thing, right? And that takes discipline, and that takes learning to kind of learn which ones you want to get to. And
you also only have 24 seconds. So there has to be some aggression mixed in with that as well, or else, as you're saying, like all that fluffy movement isn't doing anything for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a tough balancing, playing within the team, but also playing aggressive. And Coach Dagnall's given you guys a lot of credit for being able to kind of ride that wave a little bit and do it really well. The other thing is you guys are moving the ball a lot, but the turnovers have been pretty low. And it doesn't seem like, and Coach Dagnall has said, like, he's not coaching, like, don't turn the ball over. Like, that's not a message that he's preaching. What are you seeing out there? Is it strong decision-making? Is it quick decision-making? What's been kind of something that stuck out offensively?
I mean, we got really good ball handlers on this team, between Shai and Josh especially. So that's a big, that's a big part of it. And good passers too, that are able to find good angles and take good care of the ball. I think it's just kind of like I was saying earlier, just find that balance of aggressiveness, but also just being smart.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that you guys have been like building towards and working on. It just seems like when you take a step back and zoom back from like maybe 2 years ago to this year, how much further along that like track do you feel like you are? I mean, we hear Mark talk about, like, even with a guy like Poku, like, he's going to have these little like ups and downs this season, but the ups and downs now compared to where they were 2 years ago are like a massive way apart. Yeah,
I mean, he's who I first thought of when you started your comment too. I think he's been playing great this year, and just getting into actions, and playing the five and using his skills to of passing and ball handling, and shooting. Driving, all that, in the flow of the offense, in that balance of scoring for himself, but also creating for teammates. And he's been great for us. Just his pace, running, getting into a lot of, like, he's making really good ball screen reads. I think Baze has come a long way with that too. Those two guys at the five, I think, are really dangerous because, in today's NBA, there's not a lot of bigs posting up a lot, and a lot of it's just being able to create that flow, that 5-out offense. And when those guys are out there using their ball handling skills, their driving skills, their shooting skills as the five and getting all those actions, it just makes it really hard to guard.
It seems like you almost use the 5-man as a team as like, all right, here's our weapon of the night. Like, based on what the other teams got going, what their personnel is. Like, I've seen and heard multiple times Mark talk about, like, okay, like, we're going to get Mike in there to specifically exploit like this matchup or this situation or this, lack of understanding that the opposing team has. Like, I don't know, what's that dynamic like for you all using that position the way that you do?
I mean, I think what we've really taken a step forward this year, though, too, and where we continue to grow is just putting our lineups out there that we want to have, and making the other team adjust to that, and I think there are some instances where if there are other bigs on the other team or kind of drop coverage, you want to get more shooting out of that. There's certain looks you can look at for that, but more so just kind of focusing on what we want to do and then making the teams adjust to that. I think that's what the good teams do, and we're still trying to grow into.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to that conversation about Poku and Bays and just that rotating 5 spot, because it seems like on the defensive end, like that's where normally playing undersized at the 5 might show up, right, on that defensive end. But Poku, Darius, Shai too, they're all averaging over a block a game, and it just seems like they're using their length, because they've got those long arms, those long legs, and they're kind of making the most of the length that they have to cause some disruption at the rim.
Yeah, even against the Wizards, though, like we went even smaller, and like K-Rich may have been the 5, or like when Eugene was playing the 5 against Toronto, and switching 1 through 5. I think that's a really good weapon for us.
Yeah.
And getting a lot of ball pressure onto the opposing team's 5, who's usually doing a lot of the action for them on offense too. And then, it's a different look for all the guards coming off ball screens as well when you're switching as opposed to being in a drop coverage.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of the 1 through 5 switching, and I think, especially with Eugene out there and if K-Rich, if we're going small like that, I think that can really throw off the rhythm of the other team.
You've also shown that you can be a really effective rim protector without being a high volume shot blocker.
Right.
Like I think the other night against Memphis, Ja Morant's charging down the lane. You stand him up with verticality, and he's kind of got that bewildered look as he's going back to the bench. He's assuming that should be a foul, but you are in completely legal guarding position. Just what's that like in those situations when you've sort of thwarted somebody and they're looking around, like,
Yeah, you just try to do that. I think that's the best thing you can do. You either got to try to take a charge or just jump straight up, right? So J. Will is pretty good at taking charges.
Yeah.
But they call it the moment of truth. Where you got to decide: are you gonna try to take the charge, or are you gonna go straight up? And it's better often than not when you go straight up is just don't swipe down, because they're really good at drawing those fouls, and more often than not, they're gonna call a foul, or they'll make it. So you just gotta trust, your verticality will help them.
Do you think that you've developed that reputation around the league amongst the officials or whoever it may be, that like you're gonna be legal when you go up like that in verticality?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I think after 10 years, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you do have certain reputations, but like I think because, for example, guys who are taking charges, I think refs know that. And they're looking at that, and they're going to give them those calls too. Because obviously it is a charge most often than not. Yeah. But there's just you can tell that they've practiced it a lot, and that it's the right call.
While we're on the topic of offensive fouls, you all, as a defense, have drawn 55 offensive fouls already this season. And it's, all those guys, you talked about it the other day, like all these guards hustling around screens and like fighting over these screening actions. And the number of illegal screens by opposing teams this season has just been unbelievable.
Yeah, they've been calling a lot of illegal screens. Lou's great at selling them for sure. And I've gotten called for a lot of moving screens this year as well, too. I think it might just be kind of a point of emphasis for referees this year. But yeah, I think Lou's been really big, and even like Aaron Wiggins is doing a great job fighting through screens. He comes to mind. Shai's done a great job of that too. That's a lot of work throughout the season to do that.
It is so cool to hear you like have that empathy for guards having to like fight through screens. Because I just remember like that was the bane of my existence, like guarding opposing team point guards and having to like get hit by the biggest person on the floor. And it's like, it's just really cool to hear.
And that's why I think the switching 1 through 5 is a nice change of pace, because then you don't have to then that's out of the equation in a sense, right? So it's like, you're not having to like play all those angles all the time. It's a different angle, and then you're able to just alleviate some of that grind that comes with it, but still be aggressive. It's not like, what I mean? It's not like you're doing that just to back off. You're almost being more aggressive.
Yeah. You had mentioned Shai, and he's continued to take strides forward every year. The thing that's been fascinating, and I'd love to get your take on this, is just he seems to be getting everything on both ends of the floor and like within the team concept. Like you see sometimes around the league guys that are really high scorers, and it's like pounding the ball, and it's just everybody's like spaced out and just waiting. But it doesn't feel like that with him right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, he's been playing amazing. He's been so big for us, and just a selfless leader and player. While he's still scoring 35 a night, and that's like it's just a testament to who he is. He wants to win. He wants what's best for the team. And he's just a good dude. So I think we're all grateful to play with him.
Yeah, it just seems like there's such a willingness by whoever's initiating offensive understanding. Like the ball probably is going to come back around to me at some point in the possession. It's like there's a lot of NBA offenses, like if you pass the ball, you might not get it back by the end of the possession.
Yeah, facts. And I think that makes for a good rhythm for everybody. Like when you know you're going to touch the ball a few times and it's going to come back around, like you're not going to press, you're not going to force things as much. And when you are playing with that good balance of aggressiveness to score, but also moving the ball, it's really hard to guard that, and it's tiring to guard that because it's easy when you're playing defense and they just come down, make one pass, and fire up a shot and miss. It's like you don't got to work that much. But when you got to be moving around and teams are really playing with purpose, it's tough.
And it's a good chance that a guy like Shai is going to have a better advantage the second time he touches the ball than he did the first time.
It gets everybody involved and also adds some unpredictability to the offense overall.
Yeah.
Mike, this has been such a fun podcast. Like, we love having you on and really appreciate you taking the time
today.
Sure. This has been great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Awesome. Well, before we let you go, we got to let you know what's on tap for the Thunder. Bring your fork and knife to Paycom Center this Thanksgiving week. The Thunder is going to be at home for 3 games, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On Monday, they take on the New York Knicks again. And then on Wednesday, they've got the Denver Nuggets, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Friday, sorry, the games are running together. Friday, they got the Chicago Bulls. So be sure to check out OKCThunder.com for the schedule and all the info you need. And for all game coverage, me and Nick have you covered.
And then one other thing, just be on the lookout. The team is going to be out in full force over the next couple months, including this week, Thanksgiving week, for the annual holiday assist. This is 15 years in a row the Thunder has had the holiday assist program. So great opportunity to give back, especially given how hard it's been the last 2 seasons to do that out in person. So be on the lookout for all those events too.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mike, for being here today.
Thanks,
Mike. Appreciate you. And thank you so much for watching and listening. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much to our producer, Matt Bishop. And until next time, Thunder up and catch you later.